Thanks for coming out tonight. Like Jennifer said, Ben Penner is my name, and I'm from Mankato. I have been growing, marketing, and selling small grains, like Jim said, for about 15 years now. I'm going to talk to you tonight about something that is near and dear to my heart, which is Kernza. I grew up in south central Kansas, not in Minnesota. And I grew up about 30 miles away from the Land Institute. And the Land Institute is where they were developing this new crop back in the early 2000s. And I actually visited them and saw some of the very first plants that were being grown in a greenhouse in Salina, Kansas at the Land Institute. I still have a photo of that very first crop that was ever grown outside of the lab. You know, the light bulbs really started clicking in my mind that this was something that was going to be an impressive game changer over a long period of time.
It's a perennial crop. You know, the roots go 11 feet deep. Obviously, the diversity for our rotation is huge. And, you know, for a producer that has livestock, to be able to utilize it for grazing also, I mean, that's just a win-win. Keep the soil covered all year round, you know, armor the soil, protect it, add diversity. I mean, it just covers all of the 5 soil health principles. Plant it once, you can have 3 harvests off it for grain. I mean, that's huge.
Great River Greening is helping to facilitate partnerships with those in the industry to help with Kernza and the supply chain, as there are issues getting it from the grower to the buyer. So there were a lot of growers. A few years ago, they grew Kernza, it was going great, and they couldn't get it sold. So it was sitting in their grain bins, and a lot of those farmers then switched to another crop.
Yeah, so this is all 2021 crop, and I did take the eco payment on half of it, but the rest is just gonna go. Yeah. So yeah, these totes and that wagon's full of it, so.
Okay.
It's time to be done.
Obviously, it's a great product, and it's still in that developmental stage as far as having a market.
Yeah, it was a wonder crop, but the market's not quite there yet.
Right now, the growers here are at least going 5 hours in order to get their Kernza cleaned and processed. So that is a lot of time that is going into that farmer and a lot of money when we talk about transportation.
I think if there was a processing facility to go to, you could have something that was good for an end use, that would probably push things ahead a little bit. I think that's the bottleneck right now, is actually just not having a mill, you know, really not having kind of a mill, not having a cleaner, not having the dehuller. That's
right, I mean, there's those
handy
places farther away, and then the other somewhat local company that's doing a little bit.
Right.
You know, but it's not a lot.
I love studying systems. How do you change a very large system like the food system? I personally think that the best way to do that is through entrepreneurship.
Be interesting when you guys tour Meadowlark, see how much space you think you would need.
Yeah, that'll give us some good information on that.
I am co-owner of Meadowlark Community Mill and Meadowlark Organics. It's a farm and flour mill in southwest Wisconsin. My husband John and I have 3 kids, 9, 6, and 3. Meadowlark Mill is a stone ground flour mill, and we process organic regional grains into flour. What we're doing is radically different from how most flour is produced in this country. So a long time ago, there were stone mills in every community. They were really places people would bring their grain and have it milled, generally for home use or community use. But Now, since kind of the industrial food revolution, there's been so much consolidation in our food system and our farming system. What we're doing is buying directly from farmers, offering very fair prices, prioritizing relationships. We're prioritizing farming practices, so we know these people, we know what their crop rotation is, how they're managing the land, and then we're processing it very differently too. So a stone mill is a really old method of, 2 stones that crush and shear grain. It's super simple. We don't add anything to it. We take some of the bran out for our sifted or bolted flour. What we produce still has all the integrity of the original grain, which is super nutritious and flavorful, turns out. My husband John and I met cooking at a restaurant in New York called Prune. In New York, at the green markets in New York City, we started to see the regional grain movement coming to the people. We came back to Lancaster, Wisconsin, and started working on this farm in Ridgeway. Well, we were hired in 2015, where they grew grain intended for food. There was a local mill about 35 minutes from here, and so we knew we had a market if we were able to meet spec. In 2016, we sold our first crop to that mill. We knew that if we wanted to grow our business or continue to sell flour, we really had to have more involvement in the process. We got a USDA Value-Added Producers Grant, which allowed us to build out our own brand and become Meadowlark Organics, and we were building relationships with local bakers and selling at farmers markets and things like that. The owner of that mill was looking to retire, and so we agreed to buy his equipment and move it to our farm. The goal was for this to be our full-time job. We didn't want to have off-farm jobs, and we knew that in order to do that or attempt to do that, we really needed to increase the profitability of what was already happening here. The way that we have designed the mill is to be more high volume, high throughput. So it's trying to access institutional markets, schools, hospitals, big, business campuses. The grains that we bring in are generally for distilleries or to go into our bread blend, which is our top seller that goes to wholesale bakers, or our all-purpose flour. There has been this funny thing that has happened lately where people are like, oh yeah, like a meadowlark. Like we're an example of something that could or could not be replicated. I think we have very unique circumstances in the way that we came to be and our motivations, which you see in really in small grains like wheat all over the country in particular. All of the regional grain movements that are happening for different reasons. In Southwest Wisconsin, it's really important that we incorporate small grains into our rotations because we have fragile soils. In California, it's really important that they're growing wheat because it's dry farmed. They don't need to irrigate it. So in a lot of ways, there are different problems that are answered by the same thing, which is re-regionalizing your food systems, and staple crops like grains are just one part of that. While I don't know that any other mill would ever do things exactly like we would or look exactly like us, I do think that we are an example of a successful way to balance diversification in an agricultural landscape with supporting a regional food system and just providing that connection between those two.
Kernza is a brand new crop, a brand new paradigm of perennial crops that requires an entire system, a new system to support it.
So one thing that Great River Greening is doing is we're trying to figure out how to shore up the supply chain.
We need to actually move crops into a direction that are going to be far better for the environment than what we currently have.
So we are looking at ways of building some kind of supply chain more locally here in the St. Peter Mankato region.
And all along that chain, there are business people investing their time, their talents, their sweat, their money, their lives basically, and creating lives for themselves.
Hey everybody, I'm Montana. I own River Rock Kitchen and Baking Company in St. Peter.
I'm Jim. My wife and I own the brewery, my wife Lauren and I. But yeah, we started in 2018, and kind of the goal was to brew with what local ingredients we could find.
And the idea is that if we can incorporate a small amount of Kernza into the majority of what we do, then that will make a bigger impact on being able to use more Kernza.
We just like that it provides sort of a nutty flavor to it. It kind of gives a little bit of a graininess.
It's delicious. Everyone that I have try it, they love it. I think there's a lot of excitement and energy around it and using it.
It's nice to sort of support local farmers too, and that's kind of one of the goals with using local products for us.
And I think it's one of those things that once people find out about it, they're really energized and excited to learn more, to use it. It's just that education piece.
And so we do get people that come in and ask, what is Kernza? Because they have never heard of it before.
The delicious beer that you're tasting right now doesn't get here on its own. There's a whole process that goes behind it in order to get it into your glass.
So that's something we're working on at Great River Greening. How do we make sure if we get that customer base solid, that they're gonna get a supply chain?
So all along the way, you have these supply chains that are being formed, customer relationships are being built, and we're all telling the story about Kernza as we build this new kind of economy.
Meadowlark Community Mill is an excellent example of how they have blended the private and public funding along with a dedicated core of employees and managers and a deep understanding of small grain production and milling, and put that all together to support a community of farmers and support certain grains supply chains. We want to explore the idea of bringing a community mill to the southern Minnesota region to help support Kernza and other perennial grains. And here is where we need your help. We're looking for people in the Minnesota communities that are interested in being a part of building a similar community mill in the Minnesota region. This could be people already in the industry or people who just have the vision and the drive to move the supply chain forward for Kernza and other small grains.